Well, hi, everybody, and good Friday morning to meteorologist Travis Klineski. We're going to dive right in. We got a lot to talk about here over the next couple of days here as we start off with the here and now, because it's just after 7 o'clock here in the Tri-Cities, and we do have a few hit or miss showers and isolated thunderstorms from north central Nebraska all the way down to north central Kansas, kind of up and down the Highway 281 corridor. Not a lot, but again, a little bit of lightning, some brief downpours, things like that. That will shift from central to eastern Nebraska over the next couple of hours to come. Futurecast doesn't do a good job of picking up on that, but we do have that chance in central and eastern Nebraska for the next couple of hours. Meanwhile, skies will clear up, and the bigger story of the day will become the heat again for today, as well as a very strong wind out of the south. Now, the other thing I'll mention, there's a frontal boundary up in northern Nebraska this morning. It kind of stalls out or even retreats back to the north, so it'll be kind of sitting in northern Nebraska later this afternoon and into this evening. Now, out ahead of it, we could see more showers and storms fire up this evening and overnight tonight, so if you have plans for an area football game, there's a chance in central and eastern Nebraska of a few showers and storms, even some isolated severe storms not out of the question. That front, meanwhile, will start to make its way southeastward and should be pushing through the Tri-Cities sometime late tonight, very early tomorrow morning. Now, out ahead of that front tomorrow will still be very warm in eastern Nebraska and northern Kansas, but most of us will be much cooler where you have all those clouds behind that front. Temperatures in the 60s and lower 70s. It is going to be a much cooler and much more noticeable cool down out there for tomorrow, but still a small chance of rain and thunderstorms. Now, this model hasn't been doing a good job of picking up on the chance of rain, but there is a chance of rain and thunderstorms in eastern Nebraska tomorrow afternoon, which could affect the Husker game. The chances will continue tomorrow night for the eastern part of the state, closer to that boundary out there, and even some severe weather is not out of the question. Meanwhile, that front continues to advance southeastward later in the night, Saturday night and into Sunday morning, and that could that will bring us all cooler air for Sunday. Still a small chance of rain as we head towards Sunday morning and during the day on Sunday, but I think our better chances will then come in Sunday night. So, risk of severe weather later on today, mainly for this evening and overnight tonight here. Central, eastern Nebraska, especially north of Highway 6. The farther northeast you go, the better you chance of having a few strong to severe thunderstorms, with hail and wind being the primary threat. And then tomorrow, out ahead of that frontal boundary, a few strong to severe thunderstorms are possible there in eastern Nebraska tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. Mostly, again, a wind and hail threat. Temperatures for today, still very warm for most, although a little cooler closer to that boundary in northern Nebraska. Lower to mid-80s up there, otherwise upper 80s and lower 90s elsewhere. Not as much wind up north, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. They'll be kind of variable depending on which side of the front you're on. Out west, we're looking at mid-80s to mid-90s. Again, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds out of a west and southwesterly direction. It's as you get farther to the east and to the southeast, that's where the winds will crank up and be a little stronger straight out of the south, helping to really pump in that warmth. We're talking about temperatures into the low and mid-90s in south central Nebraska, north central Kansas. That slight chance of a thunderstorm this morning, then chances return tonight. Out towards the east, this is where some of the strongest winds will be at 15 to 30 miles per hour. Also looking at highs in the low to mid-90s, slight chance of an isolated hit or miss shower or thunderstorm out there. Now, I kind of want to also look at your forecast highs kind of in a perspective of going through the next couple of days, your forecast temperatures here. Again, today, now this model's not as warm as what I have forecasted today, but it gives you a general idea of where that cooler air is up towards the northwest. Watch that frontal boundary dive southeastward tonight into the area. That brings that cool down in for much of northern western Nebraska and parts of central Nebraska. Still very warm out ahead of that frontal boundary in eastern Nebraska, northern Kansas tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, the Tri-Cities may struggle depending on the amount of cloud cover we see. We'll see that warmth kind of continue to kind of push southeastward as that front starts to make its way through eastern portions of Nebraska. Meanwhile, behind the front, we're looking at highs only in the 60s and 70s. So many of us will be much, much cooler out there for Saturday afternoon. And speaking of Saturday afternoon, first off, our game kicks off between the Huskies and the Huskers at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. For tailgaters out there, temperatures in the 70s before the game. Small chance of rain. In fact, a small chance of rain for the first half of the game. Temperatures starting off around 80 there at 11 o'clock. At the end of the game, it depends on where that front is when the game ends, but a little better chance of showers and storms towards the end of the game. I think the best chance will come following the game there around 3 o'clock or so there into the late afternoon and evening hours. Next couple of days beyond today, much cooler for the weekend. Still some hit or miss shower and thunderstorm chances. That front moves back to the north as a warm front on Sunday, bringing in a really good chance of rain after midnight Sunday night and into Monday morning. Small chance Monday afternoon. Dry for Tuesday and Wednesday, and on the warm side, our next chance of rain Thursday and into Thursday night, as we may start to get back to more of a wetter weather pattern and cool things off a bit beyond this 7-day forecast. So I'm running out of time here, so got to get back to the work here at the TV station. So until next time, I'm meteorologist Travis Klineski. Hope you all have an enjoyable weekend, and God bless.